of Russia, Vladimir Putin, shot February 6, 2024 at about 7 p.m. in the building behind us, which is, of course, the Kremlin. The interview, as you will see if you watch it, is primarily about the war in progress, the war in Ukraine, how it started, what's happening, and most pressingly, how it might end. One note before you watch. At the beginning of the interview, we asked the most obvious question, which is, why did you do this? Did you feel a threat, an imminent physical threat? And that's your justification. And the answer we got shocked us. Putin went on for a very long time, probably half an hour, about the
So this is like we're getting into like some serious drama here. So on a parallel thread, I'd like met someone and they said like if you come through Germany, you stop by, and I said okay, well, on my way to India, I'm gonna stop by Daimler headquarters and talk to them and see if there's any kind of partnership that could be had. This is, I forget the exact. It's right before I gave the IAC talk, so that like it would be that's how one could place it. And I met with their engineering team, and I said like, is there anything you guys like? What do you guys want? Like, is there, you know, I'm trying to play cool here, you know, even though like we desperately need some kind of partnership or we're screwed. And they said, well, they're thinking about an electric smart car. So I was like, okay, if we were to do something, you know, when would you want to see it? And I said, well, we've got like a delegation of Daimler executives coming through in January of 2009. And I think this was October or something like that. And I talked to JB, and like Drew and Scott and Vineet and a bunch of others. I was like, guys, we need to get a smart car, and we need to stuff a roadster powertrain into it and make it a custom battery, and it needs to work by the time the Daimler team comes here in January.
Oh my God. Oh my.
We can interview JB about it, and maybe he'd like add some additional color. So the problem was that there were no smart cars were not being sold in the U.S., but they were being sold in Mexico. So we sent someone to Mexico to just buy a smart car and drive across the border. So this is a gasoline smart car, so just with Mexican plates. So we went and bought a smart car in Mexico, drove across the border, and then literally put a Roadster drive unit and modified battery pack in the smart car and had it working by January when the Daimler delegation came by. And I remember that being in that Daimler meeting, and man, they were like, why? Clearly they're quite grumpy that they even had to meet with us. They did not know we had this electric smart car, so they're grumpy that they had to meet with us, and we're clearly trying to get out of the room as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And when we started off, made the mistake of starting off with PowerPoint, and which immediately made them even grumpier because everything works in PowerPoint, and they've seen way too many PowerPoint slides, and they were like literally getting ready to they were going to just walk out from the PowerPoint presentation. I said, well, would you like to drive the car? They're like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, we have an electric smart car. Do you want to drive it? Like you don't have an electric smart car. That's impossible. I'm like, yeah, it's just in the parking lot. You can go drive it. Actually, it was not only was a smart car, it was fucking sick. Like, this thing had a Roadster powertrain in a smart car. The power to weight ratio of this thing was bananas. It was like you could pull wheelies in a smart car. Literally, if you
Could it
stepped,
fly?
yeah, you could lift the front wheels off the deck.
Motorcycle torque on a four-wheel vehicle.
Yeah, a motorcycle torque on a four-wheel vehicle. It was insane. You could burn rubber in a smart car. It looked bizarre. Like you just never seen a thing move like that.
Then I might actually drive a smart car if it was like
Yeah,
that.
it was awesome. Anyway, so we just blew their minds. Like, they're like, what? How is this? This is like, what impossible black magic have you figured out to have like an electric smart car? And it's like, well, we got one from Mexico 3 months ago, and we put a Roadster powertrain in it and a modified battery pack, and you can still use the car. Like the interior of the car was still fully usable, so we didn't like intrude on the interior space. And we're like, yeah, we can. And they're like, okay, well, this is pretty impressive. They've never seen anything like this before. So then they're like, okay, well, they'll consider they will do some smart car limited production. Like part of this is because they had to make the regulators happy. So this was not like, they needed like some, sustainable energy cars to make the regulators happy. That was the reason for this electric smart car.
The fuel, the fleet miles. Per
It was not a grand vision by Daimler to go electric.
No.
It was to get these annoying regulators off our back. So
For the credits, right?
yeah, there was like
Compliance.
it's compliance vehicles. So it's like there was like a minimum number of electric vehicles that had to be made. They could also make fuel cell vehicles, but those were way more expensive.
Yeah.
So from their standpoint, it was at the time it was really more like what's the least amount of money we can spend and get the regulators regulator monkey off our back. So like anyway, so we ended up making a bunch of electric smart cars for Daimler. And then